we are living in very weird times. So, Sonic Colors Ultimate came out, and you might have heard, but it's actually getting really good reviews. Critics really enjoy it. So then why are Sonic fans looking at this game in a more critical lens? Including the hyper-positive ones.
When you see all that you see about Colors Ultimate before release and now early release, how do you not feel scammed?
Well, the Sonic cycle is very real, and it's in full swing, baby! Woo! Sonic Colors Ultimate is so broken, and on every single platform. They all have different bugs per platform, and some platforms' ports are better than others, the Switch being the worst. Which is so ironic since this is a remaster of a Wii exclusive game. There's so many bugs, the most being a very common save corruption, which I'll get into later as it's seriously so bad, I wouldn't even bother playing Sonic Colors Ultimate until it's fixed. Otherwise, you're just wasting your time.
Nah, I'm about to 100% this game and my save data gets corrupted.
So, before we go into all the issues literally filling this port, I mean remaster, drop a like and a sub to the Sonic Show, because I'm putting aside being Mr. Positive to be Mr. Objective today. So I'm going to need those likes to help against all the hate I'm going to get for not being fake positive and saying the game is truly a masterpiece. So, before the day one patch came out, there was a lot of bugs, but we all unanimously kind of thought the day one patch would fix it. But now it's out and it's still just as broken. So while there's literally piles of bugs, not all of them are bad. One I saw was this glitchy Sonic.exe looking model, and if I were SEGA right now, I would slap a price tag on this and sell it as DLC. I mean, frankly, it's actually cooler than all of the in-game cosmetics. No offense to the purple shoes. Also, if you have a Switch, to get this, all you have to do is quickly switch levels. Which brings me to wonder if they even play tested this much, with them working entirely from home. So let's start with a harmless bug. Whenever this rocket explodes, it just shatters. They completely forgot to put the explosion itself in. Clearly, the dedication Blind Squirrel Games put into this remaster is worn on the game's sleeve. Next, there's a credit scene that's over 30 minutes long, and the music stops halfway, so you're just stuck looking at this. And sometimes when you start the level, Sonic just isn't there. I actually noticed this on GameSpot's official gameplay they put out pre-release. I believe the stage it happens on all the time is Asteroid Coaster Act 3. There's just so many little bugs like this that show they did not care. Now, I won't keep you waiting, but you know what will? This game has some of the worst loading screens in any Sonic game. Here's how it compares to the infamously long Sonic 06 loading screens, and yikes.
Oh my God!
We live in a time where hardware has progressed so far that this is simply unacceptable. It makes no sense that people on PS5 are waiting these long for loading screens when games like Demon's Souls and Miles Morales have 0 loading screens. And I know those are PS5 native, but heck, PS3 games run better. The touch-ups, if you want to call them that, are not graphically crazy enough to warrant this length. There were bugs in the Dolphin port that weren't even in the original game, and somehow over a decade later, they're in the new version on all platforms. You might have seen, but a lot of reviews and critics are showing that even the bugs in the original game aren't fixed. I've seen fan games with more dedication to them, and I know a lot of people are going to be like, but fan games aren't full games. But this is just a remaster. I literally think fans can make a better remaster with our own tools, since it's not like we'd have to redesign the game.
Wow,
SEGA stated that they're working to address the game's issues without acknowledging any specific one in a very empty PR-friendly statement that didn't get posted, retweeted, or acknowledged on the official Sonic account. In fact, if you were there looking for help since your save got wiped, you'll see literally nothing. So, I'm hopeful they can fix most of these with future updates, but Team Sonic Racing never got the fixes fans wanted. And while they said these fixes will be addressed, with focus being shifted into Sonic Origins and Rangers, and Blind Squirrel just being a contracted partner, time will tell how fixed this gets, or if they just sprinkle a little salt on it and ignore the rest of the problems. Of all the ports, the Switch is by far the most broken, but that actually makes sense, because almost always the Switch port will be the buggiest due to the intense optimization for the weaker hardware. This game is also huge on the Switch. I've heard a lot of people reporting they have to uninstall a bunch of other games just to download it. The game is currently over 7 gigs, with the 1.3 patch being over 10 gigs, bigger than the game itself. And I don't even know how many patches they're gonna have to add to fix this mess.
It's not a bad franchise anymore!
Now, to us PC boys, that seems like nothing, and I simply laugh at 17 gigabytes. But for the Switch soy boys, this is a huge chunk of their very small, pathetic 64 gig size, which can only be extended by an SD card. SSD? No thanks, I got my micro SD, buddy.
I don't know. This game confuses me. What the f- Okay, is that enough evidence? Is that enough evidence?
Now, we all understand that there's a lot of bugs in this. However, a few are completely game-breaking. One being the deletion of your entire save. Yeah, you heard it right. People's saves are getting corrupted and deleted. And I know this sometimes happens on rare occasions, but this is happening a lot, and the game technically isn't even officially out yet since the street date is the 7th. And this will probably be the first thing we see patched because this is a huge problem and needs to get fixed ASAP. However, this is an issue that shouldn't even be here. It's happening to people on all systems, even seeing reports of it on the PC version. My own people! To spend hours upon hours playing a game and for all your progress to get deleted, there's 0% chance I would ever return to that game. I'd have to wait at least 6 months before I'm mentally able to pick it up again. So yeah, that needs to be fixed a week ago. There's also this display glitch that a lot of people are saying seizure warnings for, but I think a lot of people are accidentally overhyping this. For what it's worth, I can personally tell you this won't trip almost anyone's epilepsy. It's just bright colors, they don't flicker or strobe, but it's rather just another display of how broken this game is. The worst is that it's easy to replicate by just simply quickly switching levels. Whether it actually trips people's epilepsy shouldn't even be a point towards them, because regardless, the fact that it's not been taken up by playtesting when it's so easy to replicate, it's just embarrassing. However, I gotta admit, these would make cool music video visuals.
Okay, blast away! Marriage? No way! Today's not my day. A wormhole will send me far away.
And I'll get into it more later, but I quickly want to address, 1 or 2 people have made fake bugs using an emulator, so obviously I'm not gonna show those ones, because they're fake. And this next bug is game-breaking, but on the other side of the spectrum. Some guy found a bug for infinite money. The Mad Lad even said it was okay if they took away his purchases. What an absolute king. This happened on Series X apparently, so really no version of this game is safe. I personally think someone accidentally left a randomizer in the game because these bugs make 0 sense. And the guy who did it didn't even mean to, it was just a total accident. Another bug is that a lot of enemies will fade back and forth into the Matrix when running at you. I literally don't think they played this game. But not all of the bugs are bad. Some of them are actually based. A smaller one I've seen is that no matter what version you buy, sometimes it's spelled colors in-game without the U, even if it's branded with the U. Speaking of letters, I would call that a W because as we covered before, the only right way to spell colors is without the U. Also on Switch handheld, there's these flashing white lights in the background that happen anywhere in Starlight Carnival, and this ironically is an actual seizure trigger for anyone with epilepsy, so this is a bigger deal as well, especially since it's the whole level and not just one part. This is legitimately dangerous. And by the way, I thought this game was Sonic the Bandicoot because it just keeps crashing, and a lot of the crashes are replicable and make it so you can't progress. Here's one that Sony had that crashes every time he beats Rival Rush on Asteroid Coaster, which I can't imagine how frustrating that is.
Okay, so I just cleared Rival Rush. Let's see if this frickin' works. Are you kidding me? What the
Personally, I probably would have snapped my Switch in half. And there's a lot more I'll get into in what exactly went wrong with this game, but I want to address that I know a lot of people are going to come at me with, they'll patch this all, stop worrying. But there's so much wrong here that it's virtually impossible for them to go back and funnily rework all the problems this game faces. Honestly, it's embarrassing that this game released with a bug as bad as frequently corrupting saves. And this isn't an uncommon thing. I'd say out of 10 people who play this, around 8 have their saves wiped. 8! It even happened as Sam Procrastinates when he was recording his review, but he didn't put in his video because why would you want to mention your save being corrupted in a review of a game? If it happened on PC, I would say that makes sense because of all the possible configurations, but on PS5? Personally, I think it's totally worth noting and would definitely impact my experience of a game. You know, having all your progress deleted. Not fun. And with so many people's saves being wiped, a lot of people are doing exactly what I would. Giving up. I'm seeing tons of people online talking about getting a refund, even saying that if you are on Switch and want one, Nintendo will give one to you because they're aware of how broken the Switch port in particular is. And I'll get into the details on how to receive that later because this is straight up unacceptable. Some guy predicted this and has a whole thread on how Blind Squirrel doesn't do Switch games, and they have a complete opposite work approach to what SEGA wants. They support a very balanced work-life and anti-crunch policy, which is great. But when it comes to SEGA rushing them to finish, they aren't the studio to be able to pull it off. So while they are the developers, and it ultimately is on them that they couldn't do what they agreed to, SEGA still has a heavy hand in this. They definitely should have taken this into consideration when even some random Twitter user in July got it perfect to a T. SEGA should have gotten a second studio to handle the ports to other consoles, while Blind Squirrel focuses on making the remaster itself, especially considering the fact that they've never made a Switch port before. How are you going to hire these guys to make your Switch port? Then the issues with the game's quality and bugs would be gone. I know a delay would disrupt their current release timeline with Origins and Rangers, but this is clearly not in a state to release.
Damn, not here.
And frankly, I still believe this game is going to suffer immensely compared to Super Monkey Ball in October. And I know a lot of you clowned on me. Haha, okay, laugh it up, buddy. But I think you should take this as your lesson that Jaden is literally always right, always. Everyone has been quick to jump. Didn't you know there was a global picnic? Give them some credit. But I bet you didn't know this game apparently started development in 2020, meaning they've been working from home since the very beginning. So while this is the most popular excuse, it completely eliminates it. Also, not to mention that as of the time of writing, there's still no update on Colors Ultimate's physical European release, thus showing that a lot of the lack of readiness can be attributed to SEGA as the publisher of the game. They clearly weren't ready, especially if they're dealing with the release problems around a week before release. This is a Sonic game, not a Kanye album.
Any pessimists, I ain't talk to them, plus I ain't had no phone in my apartment.
I think a lot of these troubles came from SEGA's marketing here. Every time they would show gameplay, SEGA's social media people would go to their personal accounts to clarify the gameplay was shown from an old build. But they did this every time gameplay was shown, from the Sonic Central reveal to the last trailer before release. And now that the game is out, it doesn't really look any better, but let me guess, they accidentally released an old build, right? There's so many lazy lighting and graphics choices that just show little effort. Look at their eyes in any cutscene, it looks awful.
I gotta hand it to the Eggster. This place is epic.
And maybe you're like, I don't think it looks bad. Well, I'm gonna play these two cutscenes next to each other and you tell me which one looks better. I have to disclose, SEGA did not send me a review code, and frankly, with the current state of the game, I'm not buying it anytime soon.
Now, I can wholeheartedly tell you guys that I would not buy this game if I didn't get a review copy. So I am thankful that I have a review copy, but I will be honest and say, just to go off of what you're saying, David, I probably would have bought this game at probably like half the price, like on sale, and when it was on Steam, I probably buy it.
That being said, my body is ready for Sonic Origins and Monkey Ball. Sonic Origins is going to be made firsthand by Sonic Team, and I literally can't see how they could screw this up. But they'll find a way. I want to give a bit of credit where it's due. I was watching a little live stream of TailChannel.com's Larry King and his assistant Evan. Yes, that's a real website. And as you might know, are often seen as looking at the Sonic brand in a very optimistic and positive view. But I have to give some serious respect for keeping it real with this legitimately disappointing release.
How do you not feel scammed?
It's so frustrating whenever I see people put out a public opinion and then in private feel the complete opposite, so it's very relaxing for the community to feel safer being critical of SEGA. I think there's a lot of Sonic creators whose dream is to work at SEGA and their primary objective is to be as clean as possible and get as cozy with the marketing as possible. And this is something that happens across every brand, not just Sonic, but objectivity will always be more important and respectable in any creator, at least in my opinion, and frankly, I would say my respect is valued at like $4 grand, so a pretty significant chunk of change. One person who's regained a lot of respect is my former favorite Sonictuber, Twip the Kid. Cause not only did he grind 9 videos and a stream all in one day, which is debatably too much, but has been a much more critical voice, and I've seen a lot of people give him credit for that. So if this is a Twip redemption arc, I welcome it. Every creator understands that they're going to be met with backlash whenever you have a negative opinion on anything Sonic. So to keep doubling down on your thoughts when met with backlash is something we love to see, ladies and gentlemen. Actual balls on Sonictubers? We love it. Another major problem they need to fix is the sound mixing, which I feel confident in saying is a surprisingly easy fix. Why? Because I make an effort to mix and master to make sure all of my videos sound good. And if you know what you're doing, it's so simple. There are tools that literally do like half of the work for you, and open source ones too, so licensing isn't even an issue, which we'll get into because I heard you guys have been struggling with that. On every video I make now, I mix my audio, and I know it's different working with a game engine, but it actually isn't much. A lot of the tools are virtually the same, and I know this because I actually went to school for audio engineering. And to see the community, who's generally the Sonic cheerleaders, being more critical than IGN, Destructoid, and other outlets, I assume many of these places didn't want to talk about the bugs because they were probably told they'd be fixed, and I doubt all these bugs will be ironed out in the next couple days. Now, it's very possible a lot of website reviewers likely didn't do their due diligence in the reviews, probably only played the PC version, didn't play all the different versions because it's about the same.
He's like, oh, don't worry, you don't have to beat it or anything. It's a port anyway. Like, just
right. That's typical at IGN. Yeah. No, I mean, not even to be facetious. Like, I was a PlayStation editor. I usually played things on PS3, and then when we would copy the review over, I would just play it for a little while on Xbox 360. So I'm just trying to tell the audience out there that is not a skipped step.
And that explains the vast difference in conclusions, but there's a lot of bugs here, and frankly, this game is not an 8 out of 10. Even if you disagree with me, at least the Switch port is not an 8. If the original got a 4.5 on the Wii, then the Switch port gets a 3. While at its core is the original Sonic Colors, which is a good game, all the tweaks and makeup coded on it have created a plethora of problems for performance and gameplay. Crashing is a very common occurrence. A friend was screen sharing with me on Discord when his game crashed 30 minutes into our call. After seeing how some are constant occurrences like Sonic disappearing, I can confidently say it's 100% impossible to complete a playthrough of this game without encountering any bugs. If you don't encounter any, you likely just aren't noticing all of them, as most of them are small details. Except your save being wiped. That'll ruin your week. Since the release, Blind Squirrel has been radio silent on social media. The only tweet they've made since May 27th Sonic Colors Ultimate announcement is an apology they had to make for not crediting one of the game's engines they used in Sonic Colors Ultimate. That's right. You know those over 30-minute credits? Well, they left out any mention of the Godot engine, despite it being splattered all over the code and being the basic framework for the game. They responded when being called out for not crediting with apologizing and saying they'll add it to the credits in the next update, and hopefully they also add music to those credits. The guy who called them out was later responding to someone in the reply saying, "It seems weird tiny studios always credited us, and a huge IP like Sonic does not," which I would agree with. Now, I'll only put on my tinfoil hat for a quick minute, but I think since this uses their own Blind Squirrel engine, I believe the lack of crediting was 1, because they didn't feel the need to since it's open source, and 2, it makes their own engine look like it's capable of doing a lot more than it is, and makes them look more appealing as a studio, especially when they mainly do ports and remasters. I refuse to believe they accidentally forgot this when they said they checked multiple times and it's everywhere. How? They literally put half of all names on Earth in this and they forgot the engine? Sure, you guys definitely weren't trying to make your own in-house engine seem more appealing than it is. That's definitely it. Breaking news! Oh, and we got an update. Katie responded to some of the issues Sonic Colors Ultimate is facing. Again, not mentioning anything specific, and still from a marketing team member's personal account. I love Katie, but no retweet, like, or reply from any of the Sonic or SEGA accounts. This seems like a good way to make sure nobody sees the message so they don't have to officially acknowledge how broken it is or accept any public responsibility. We love to see it, folks. Also, there's been a few fake glitches that were created with an emulator, but them saying this is causing Sonic fans to go witch hunt everyone posting glitches saying they're fake. And since almost everyone is providing evidence to prove themselves, I can confidently say that almost all of these glitches are real. So far, I believe there's only been one, maybe a second person posting fake glitches, and they got called out instantly. So please don't go around dismissing all the legit ones because a couple people faked it. All that will do is just lead SEGA to dismiss this all and sweep it under the rug. If someone fakes it, there will always be people in the replies disproving them. So here we are, the last question to answer. Should you pick up Sonic Colors Ultimate? Everyone else will say make your own choice, but let's be honest. Most of you guys are sheep who will do what I say, so honestly, I would not pick this up now. It's not worth the risk that you'll lose your save and just end up frustrated. I would honestly even recommend refunding it if you already bought it and are unhappy. It's so broken, and judging on how Cyberpunk has barely had any major updates, and Team Sonic Racing still has most of the same initial problems to this day, I wouldn't be holding my breath. Especially anyone with the Switch version, since it's by far the most broken and Nintendo is honoring refunds for a temporary time. This game is legitimately not in a state to be released if there's a good chance you'll lose your progress. And with 180 collectible red rings, we will definitely have an angry gamer moment if that happens.
Still here. Just to suffer. Every night.
And by the mere fact that you got here, you basically owe me a like. Because as you've heard, I've said a lot of not nice things about the new Sonic game, and the 6-year-olds will not be happy with me for that. So regardless if you agree or not, drop a like and hit the bell to be a real one. Nothing but a G thing, baby. Lots of love. I'll buy this game when it's patched, I promise. Or if it's patched, I should say that. If it's patched. The Sonic Show, Sonic Colors Ultimate, forever.